No, because we've got Labyrinth Zone. This is probably my least favourite zone, because everything with water stages is always a big no-no. I really epitomise the whole aspect of the whole water concept, especially when... So here's the thing. Okay, again, everybody knows one of the most infamous parts and mechanics that Sonic is known for is that, yes, he doesn't last long underwater, but Sonic doesn't necessarily swim. He just sinks to the bottom and still sort of has gravity. I think it's those shoes he's wearing. It's got like, well, it's not anti-gravity, you know, weight that he's got them. It's quite the opposite, actually. But yeah, he sinks to the bottom, and you hear that deafening, very shit-scaring, infamous soundtrack where Sonic's just about to lose his oxygen. You're about to fucking drown. It's just a very unsettling thing for me, just the whole idea of drowning. Even when I was playing Mario 64, I think I've even said it on the video that's already uploaded, having to see Mario just fucking struggle his very last breath of air and then just fucking dies, it's very morbid. And okay, it may not be, you know, being as grotesque. Like in Sonic's case, it's a bit more of a cartoon, goofy expression, because he just fucking goes, "Oh," and that's it. But when you hear shit like that, how can you not actually think that this is such a relaxing way to go? And on top of that, you've got your fucking water physics too. You know, you're twice, or if not 3 times, heavier than you were above the surface. Which I guess, yes, it does make sense, because water has such a drag to it, man. And it's just, fuck. It's another, like, these long... But it just, especially for a game that's very fast-paced like Sonic, it just slows sort of the action down. I get that there are some moments, and yes, we gotta sort of slow down, it's not all about speed, but god damn, man, could you just, you know... I mean, it probably would have been better if they've done it for water mechanic, where, you know, it's still not as monotonous, where you have to constantly jump from A to B at certain places, even when you're in, you know, on land as such. But here underwater, ugh. But obviously, you know, I have to say, graphically, it still does look quite gorgeous, but holy shit, I've spent... Okay, you know, Marble Gardens was bad. I think this was just as worse. This took a very long time to do, because having to get to... And this is before I knew about, oh, I still need to get 50 plus rings. Until I realized, oh shit, wait, I already have all the Chaos Emeralds. It even says right there, Sonic has got all the Emeralds. So really, from here, if you've got all 6, you just really just need to get from A to B. That's basically it, because you have all the Emeralds with you. And then when you got shit like this where you have to wait for the water to rise and you have to stand on the corks, which look like something from Alfred Chicken as such. See, that's another game I think I've got. But you know what? I don't think I would mind doing that game again, because that was at the time in which it was a very old recording, and I don't think I was actually happy with the way it turned out. But anyway, getting back to Sonic. So, yes, Labyrinth Zone has always been infamous, mostly because of its water mechanics and the fact that everyone knows when Sonic happens to, you know, be in water, it's not always good. Now, of course, be careful not to be on the corks, because you can fucking... And this is another thing as well. Very tight, concealed sort of hallways and areas. You can easily... If the fucking water doesn't drown you, the space, especially when things move up to you to the ceiling, or they come down crashing to you on the floor, they'd fucking kill you. Alright? And you don't realize how easy, especially in the later levels, that shit actually is going to happen. They do a lot of it in the last couple of stages, so be fucking careful that Sonic easily gets crushed like a fucking styrofoam cup at this point, so I guess. Not that you can physically see that, but that's all it takes. See, there's no ring. At the beginning of me, it's like, oh, wait, should there be a ring there? But, oh yeah, no, it's all good. See, I'm already at 9 fucking lives, so... You know, I've played through these stages so many goddamn times, to the point where, yeah, okay, I've actually gone through this for most of them, and haven't actually, you know, died as such. I don't think I actually died at all for this. No, well, okay, that's not true. I have died, and I've died a lot, but for the recording I've kept, when you watch this whole thing, you watch it as if, no, I haven't actually died at all. I may have gotten hit a few times, but, yeah. But, you know, that's a crock of shit. I'm not an excellent player by all means. I'm just going to show you this. And while I would have actually liked to... I think, Oh, see, here's another thing as well. Actually, today is Wednesday, and Wednesdays is usually the day that Blake comes over and we actually do some recording. However, he is unavailable for this week. He had to go somewhere very far away to attend to a funeral. I won't say much into that, but he'll be coming back next time. I haven't actually told him about the bad news. I will tell him, you know, when either when he gets here, basically, and I think I'll find out what's happening with the I'm hoping to find out about the hard drive before he actually comes over. But yeah, at this point, you can say I guess he's at a bit of a holiday of doing actual recordings, and that's fine. Now, I never understood this bit right here. For some reason, when I get into that bit of the platform, Sonic doesn't do a jump spin roll. He just sort of jumps, which is very unusual for Sonic to see him just jump instead of doing like multiple somersaults that he's mostly known to do. So, and it always seems to happen at that spot. It's just something I've noticed at some point. But yeah. So, when I found out that you don't necessarily need to beat the game at a record time as such, because thank God that's not the case, because I've even spent quite a long time, even in the first world, trying to beat Act 1 in under 90 seconds or something like that, only to find out that no, I didn't get it. Was I too slow? Wait, I just needed 50 rings. Fuck, it wasn't that simple. And yeah, duh, it makes sense. You gather all those rings to make a massive mega ring. And then, Bob's your uncle. You got your fucking Chaos Emerald. So even when you're invincible, this shit doesn't even mean anything, because Sonic's still fucking slow as fuck. But, granted, you know... see, that was a dickhead sort of move. See, I was cussing out right there, because I thought, fuck. Nearly died there. Sonic, well, he's known for his speed, but this is, you know, at the point where it's a sort of respectable speed where it's not so fast as such, where everything just fucking zooms past right back at you, like in games like Sonic Genesis. Actually, no, I can't say much for Sonic Genesis, because I haven't actually played Sonic Genesis, but I have played Sonic Unleashed for the PlayStation 2, and I know you go way too fucking fast in that. Not to say that's a problem as such, but yeah. At least when you're playing the Sonic sections, you know, not to say that the games, when you're playing a Sonic, does hold your hand, but, you know, it's not to the point where you go careening towards a fucking wall and Sonic just leads to a fucking trip to a concussion to the hospital or some shit like that, you know, nothing that ridiculous. So, because I think there's a certain point, especially for most Sonic fans, they'll say that at one certain point, Sonic became too fast for some people's liking. Some people may not have that sort of fact, but, you know, I don't want to say... Well, I can't say which game it was for that to actually happen. Okay, this bit is pretty infamous. This is a looping section. In fact, I think they carry through this. I know they do this in Sonic 3 in the snow level. See, I know Sonic 3 a lot more than I do with Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is very, very obscure, and I think if I was to do a live recording on that, yes, so you will see me die. I don't know if I'm actually going to get all the Chaos Emeralds, because I need to know where they all are. But I don't know where all the Chaos Emeralds are in Sonic 3. It's because, you know, in 3 you actually need to find these super rings. You don't need 50 rings at the end of the stage. I mean, I suppose that would have been nice, but no, you actually had to actively go out and do your Chaos hunting. For Sonic 2, I don't know if that's the case. I think I want to say it is a bit different, but also, you know, different to what 3 had in mind, but I could be wrong. Again, Sonic 2 is very sort of alien to me, but I will definitely give it a go, especially considering that I'm moving to the Sega... Well, I don't want to say just Sega Genesis, you know, I've got, I think, Sega Saturn on store, but I just haven't figured out which game I'd actually use. Especially when I pick a game to use as an introduction to a certain sort of console, I tend to stick to the, you know, the more recognizable ones as such. Such as, well, again, for most Nintendos, it's mostly just been Mario, you know. Nintendo Entertainment System was Mario, Super Mario Brothers. But then you had the SNES, which was Super Mario World. And then Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. It's not going to happen with everything. When we get to Wii, I don't think it will be Mario. Let's just say that. Who knows? Fuck, it could be even Wii Sports for all I know. Just have to see. Okay, right, the video just is starting to crap out at this point. It's just like juddering in a bit, so I don't know if that's because it's... Okay, I'm just hoping it's not going to actually continue playing up. Okay, so this part right here, this is, it's not so much as a boss fight as such, it's more of a chase, but holy shit, this chase is not as easy as it is. It's very tight, it's also very on edge because the water is, you know, rising up a lot quickly. And then, obviously, you've got spiky shit just pointing at you as such, which is, you know, very infuriating, but you just gotta have to keep going at it because, you know, this stuff just... Yeah, especially when you've got no rings, and a single touch is all it takes to fucking end Sonic, and then that's it, you're in the dusts from down there. And, of course, racing to just get that breath of oxygen. Now, I got to one stage, I was at the very tip, and that I didn't see the last spear because it was aligned at the surface of the water, and it fucked me over the first time I went through with all that, so I thought, fuck! But anyway, yeah.